You just bought a brand new Sony camera, but you have no idea how to use it. You only have 5 minutes to set it up, or else your friend gets it. Fortunately for you, I've got a 5-minute guide to help you out. Alright, so I'm going to set up this camera to my favorite photography and video settings. This is the Sony a7 III, but the menu in the a7 III is very similar to the newer Sony cameras, like the a7R IV, a6600, and a6100. But if you are looking for more of an in-depth guide to set up the a7 III, I made a video about that, and you can watch that video with the link up over here or down in the description below. But come on, Sid! Time's wasting! We need to save a life! All right, here we go, 5 minutes on the clock, and away we go. All right, when you turn on your camera, you should see the language settings, and so just choose your preferred language. We're gonna skip that for now. Okay, so I'm not gonna do a lot of explaining because we only have 5 minutes. We're gonna do our photography settings first to make sure on the top dial is set to the letter M for manual. Once that's an M, go to menu, and let's make our changes. All right, file format, I choose RAW all the time. File type, we're gonna change to uncompressed. Everything else looks great. That's good. Yep, that's great. Yep. Keep that the same. Keep that the same. Okay, here. Autofocus tracking sensitivity. We're going to choose responsive because I found that option to be the best. Next page, next page. Oh, that's good. We're going to change ISO. So instead of auto ISO, we're going to just select 100 and change depending on what environment that we're in, but never use auto ISO. Okay, next page, keep going. Okay, here we go. White balance, instead of auto, we're gonna select daylight. I mostly shoot in daylight, but I don't like when the color shifts. Everything else looks great. Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, cool. All right, so we're done with our photography settings for now. Now the second tab over, that is our movie settings. And so to enable all the options in the movie settings, on the top dial, make sure you are set to the movie icon. All right, let's go back to the menu and let's make our changes. Change the exposure mode to manual so we can have manual controls. File format, we're gonna set it up for 4K. And if you want to do slow motion, then make sure to select XAVCS HD, and that will enable your slow motion options like 60 frames a second or 120. But for now, we're just going to set it up for 4K, and our frame rate will be at 24 frames a second. All right, next page, autofocus drive speed, we'll leave at normal. Autofocus track sensitivity, we're going to keep to responsive. Audio record level. Since I use an external mic, the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus, I like to set the audio level to 5 because I said so. Right, back to the menu. Let's see, next page, that's good. Next page. For zoom settings, I like changing it to clear image zoom because it gives the camera the ability to zoom in even more. So I'm going to choose that. Next page. Yep, all that looks good. All that looks good. Yep. Well, that's great. And then over here, we're going to change our volume settings to the max. Great. Here in this page, we're going to turn the auto power off temperature to high so that the camera can keep recording even if the temperature goes up. Right down over here, we want to make sure that our touch operation is on. I like using the touchscreen operations to help me focus on certain objects while I'm filming. And with that said, we're going to leave this option to touch panel only. All right, next page. And all that looks really good to me. All right, just a few more adjustments and we are done. Let's get out of the menu and let's go ahead and make our changes to shoot at 24 frames a second. And so here's the shutter speed. We want to double the frame rate. And so I'm going to change that to 1/50th of a second. Aperture, I usually set it to as low as I can. So with this lens, it's at 2.8 and ISO is left to 100. Oh, and one more thing. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot about this. All right, let's go back to the first tab. We want to go back to our color profile. Where is it? 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 Come on, come on, come on, come on. Ah, here we go. Okay, so for video, you can have the option of choosing different picture profiles. That's a video in and itself, but when in doubt, if you want good colors coming out of this camera, just go to Creative Style, change it to Portrait. We're going to change our settings. We're going to lower the contrast as low as we can. We're going to lower our saturation by -2 and lower our sharpness to -3. Okay, that looks good. And those settings are usually good for video. Oh, do I have time? If you want to save those video settings to a custom profile, go back to Menu, Go to the first tab, page 3, I believe. Come on, come on, come on. Hit memory, hit 1, and now our video settings is set to custom dial 1, which you can access on the top dial over here. And with that, if you want to access your photography settings real quick, just flip the dial over to M. And if you want to go back into video mode with those exact settings, then we can simply go back to custom dial 1. Easy peasy, and I think we're done. Oh my gosh, we actually saved someone's life. Good job, guys. Good job. Well, hopefully that was helpful to you, and if it was, thumbs up, like, subscribe, and also call the cops. Please, help.